I still don't think this is a good idea, but same thing with Urabe, I guess. Just go into the final boss with nothing, you know, not even a gun. By the time we reached Castle Hogstein, the sun had already set. We must have spent more time talking than I realized. I found myself wondering how the game had turned out, but I knew I'd only get everyone in trouble if I tried to get a hold of them while it was going on. I forced myself to let go of my cell phone. I have to trust them. So I assume this is when they're doing the space game, you know? Where you shoot the laser guns, I guess. Worrying it wasn't going to accomplish anything, I shook my head and turned toward the castle. A lot of shaking of heads in this route. Everyone keeps shaking their heads. He frowned. Okay, yeah, maybe a little. However nervous I was, my mind was made up. I looked him straight in the eye and nodded. Thank you. Protect me with your, like, magic orb. Can you, like, shoot beams from it, you know? Shoot magic missiles? He moved to the wall next to the door and pressed a section of it. As I watched, the door clicked and then swung open with a loud creak. This is probably what happened on the other routes as well. This is what Urabe did. When he disappeared, he confronted Hogstein by himself, I guess. As well. But this time I get you know, we get to see what happens. When he does so, I assume nothing good happens. A huge chandelier hung from the ceiling, and in the back of the room was a set of stairs draped with a red carpet. You imagine if, you know, that's the thing, if Hogstein was like, okay, sure, I give up, and then the story ends, that'll be really short. I don't imagine that's what would happen. You know, obviously Hogstein is not just gonna roll over and just give up after just talking to him. It looks just like it did on the first day. A familiar voice echoed across the room from the throne at the top of the stairs. Hogstein. There he was, sitting on his throne, his enormous stomach shaking with silent laughter. We began to walk slowly toward the base of the stairway. He spread out his arms as if to say, "Welcome to my humble home." Are they okay? Oh, thank goodness. Okay. I felt some of the stress that had been building all day evaporate. Urabe stepped forward, putting himself quietly in between myself and Hogstein. How cute. Urabe thinks he can just talk his way out of this. He can just say, yeah, just stop it. Easy. Okay. Huh? Eh? Huh? He nodded. Wait, this doesn't make sense. Why is he giving up so easily? Urabe also looked taken aback by the sudden turn of events. Are you really going to stop? Just like that? Well, it's just that after all the other stuff you've done, it's kind of hard for me to believe that you give up that easily. He pulled out a small box out of somewhere and tossed it to us. It rolled down the carpeted stairs and came to rest at our feet. This is the same trick. We did this before already. The same one. It was just like the treasure chest that the game rewards came in. Maybe not? Maybe not? Urabe and I carefully reached down to pick up the box and open it, all the while keeping a close eye on Hogstein. It looks just like the others, but Urabe flicked it open. Inside was a small folded piece of paper. We opened it up. Try again? Oh. It's similar to, like, I guess you always see in anime, I feel like. It's like similar to like those popsicle sticks, you know, when you eat like a popsicle ice cream, whatever. You finish ice cream and there's like a little thing that says either you win and then you can get another one free, or usually it says like you lose. Like similar to that, I guess. Try again. His maddening laughter echoed through the hall. Well, ah, I can't believe we fell for it again. In like another timeline, you know. There was a metallic screech from above us, and Urabe pulled me toward him, wrapping his arms around my body. When I opened my eyes, there were metal bars surrounding us. Hogstein had trapped us in a cage. He tricked us. Of course he did. You wouldn't expect anything else. I pulled out of Urabe's protective embrace and shook the bars of the cage. Ah. His voice was quiet and resigned. What? Hogstein whistled and a thick black cloth fell down over the cage. I can't see anything. Urabe laid a gentle hand on my shoulder. The warmth of his hand was comforting. Yeah, he was right. I was not alone. As long as I had Urabe with me, everything would work out. What? Suddenly I felt very tired, and before I could wonder why my consciousness blinked out, or rather, I don't know if I read that wrong, but basically we went unconscious because of the sleeping gas. Very similar to what happened in the Urabe's route, I guess. Basically, again, the same thing. But hey, stage 5. Of his route.
Saki-san, 大丈夫ですか?
I wonder where we are now. Oh, okay, we're in here. I woke up to Urabe shaking me gently. His eyes were worried.
目が覚めましたか?
Yeah, Hogstein had trapped us in a cage, and then I looked around the dim room we found ourselves in and saw walls lined with fish tanks of various sizes. Each one had different sorts of tropical fish. I had been laid down in the corner of the room. Okay, I'm surprised she isn't in the tank as with Urabe. Why are we in here?
私も少し前に目が覚めたばかりで正確には把握していないのですが、檻に閉じ込められた後、おそらく催眠ガスか何かを嗅がされてここに連れてこられたのではないかと思います。
Sleeping gas? Dang it, that was cheap even for Hogstein. I was pissed, but that wasn't gonna help anything. I needed to concentrate. I stood up and moved my arms and legs experimentally. Nothing seemed to be damaged, you know, you didn't cut off our limbs or anything. Satisfied that I was operating within acceptable parameters, I took a closer look around the room we were in. This room is kinda weird. Do you know where we are?
いえ、残念ながらわかりません。
He shrugged apologetically.
それどころか、ここがランド内のどこなのかも見当がつきませんから。
Well, I guess being buddies with Hogstein only gets you so far. I was hoping you might know more, but oh well.
出られそうな場所がないか探してみましょう。
Seek a way out. We're gonna do some puzzles? No? Probably not. Alright. We began to examine the room. Oh, well, that's not opening. The door was, of course, locked shut. The walls and floors were covered with fish tanks. Perhaps there was a hidden door like the one Urabe had used to get into Castle Hogstein. We went over every inch of the room, but couldn't find any other doors. Well, shoot, I guess that's it.
残念ながらそのようですね。しばらくはこの部屋でおとなしくしているしかないでしょう。
Yeah. Suddenly I felt very tired and sat down on the floor. Urabe sat down next to me. I found myself wondering how the game was going, which led to... Oh, what time is it? I slipped my hand into my pocket. My phone's gone! I frantically checked my other pockets, but it was nowhere to be found. Urabe checked his pockets as well, but eventually sighed and shook his head.
私の携帯もないようです。
It seemed our phones had been confiscated after we'd been knocked out.
体が拘束されていないのが唯一の救いですが、このままではどうしようもありませんね。
So we had no idea what time it was and we couldn't get out. I guess all we can do now is sit here. Just sit around, bunch of fish. I wasn't sure how much time passed before we heard the door open and looked up. A piglet appeared, carrying 2 trays of food. Oh, at least we're getting fed. You know, I remember when we were trapped with Wakasa, you know, we weren't getting any food, but this time we are. Excuse me, but where are we? Can you get us out of here? The piglet handed us our trays and made an X sign over its chest with both arms, meaning no. What's going to happen to us? It just shook his head and rushed out the door. Wait, I have more questions. The door slammed shut.
気を落とさないでください。
He smiled.
彼らはワールドブーに口止めされていますから、どのみち答えは得られないでしょう。今は無駄な体力は使わずに、いざという時のために体力を蓄えるんです。せいてはことをし損じる。こういう時ほど焦らずじっくりと好機を待ちましょう。
I took a deep breath and thought about what he'd said. Urabe is right. Panicking wasn't gonna get us anywhere. Okay, you got a point.
では、せっかくですから食事にしましょう。
Well, we sat down and grabbed our trays. Is this breakfast?
そうですね。もしかしたら昼食かもしれませんが、夜ということはないと思います。
There's no way for us to know how long we've been asleep, but when we'd arrived at Castle Hogstein, the sun had already set. Judging by how hungry I felt, I guess it was at least breakfast, possibly lunch. Then that would mean maybe the game's already started. I believe in the other guys, but our lives were on the line. It was hard to not be at least a little nervous after seeing what had happened to the hospital. Do you think Shido's still in charge? I hope Itarashi isn't pushing himself too hard, but Urabe is probably keeping him from doing anything too stupid. I'll bet if something's scary, Wakasa's scared again, and Miyoshi's nervous. Mai's probably back in the hotel. I hope she's not too sad about being alone. I knew we needed to wait and conserve our energy, but it was hard not to get worked up about what was going on outside, rather. Perhaps he noticed me looking at the door and chewing at my lip because Urabe suddenly spoke up.
申し訳ありません。私が不甲斐ないばっかりに。
No, oh gosh. I'm sorry if I made you think that. I don't think you're useless at all.
ですが、
I mean, it's not like I'm about to break us out of here either. We're in the same boat.
サキさん、ありがとうございます。
I told you already. You don't need to thank me. If anyone should be thanking anybody, I felt like I should have been thanking him. Every time I started to feel sad or worried, his smile would cheer me up again. Urabe had helped me keep my head above water. I think I know why people go to you for fortune-telling now. When I'm with him, I just feel calm. Well, most of my emotions feel calm.
では、一つ約束させてください。
Again, he feels more like a therapist, you know? How about you just be a therapist in that case, instead of doing fortune-telling? I don't know. I drew myself up straight. Promise?
これからたとえ何が起こっても、必ずあなたを守り抜きます。そう誓わせてください。
Oh, I thought back to when he had saved me from the explosion in the hospital. So long as we were both trapped in Hogstein's game, there's no way to know what might happen next. Can I really ask him to do that? My face felt warm. I never had anyone say something like that to me before. I feel kind of silly saying this, but yes. But in my heart, I made myself a promise as well. I'm glad he's going to look out for me, and it feels nice to know he wants to, but I'm going to protect him too. We finished our meal and went back to, sitting, just sitting around. Nothing much happened as the minutes ticked by. I wonder if the others are alright. We could philosophize, Philosophize? Philosophize. I don't know, that feels wrong to me. I'm not saying it right, but we could philosophize. We could think about it as much as we wanted to, but there's no getting around the fact that being cut off from everything was frustrating.
随分思い詰めた顔をしていますね。
Huh? Really?
眉間にシワが寄っています。
He reached out and tapped my forehead. Huh. I jumped as he touched me, surprised, and he grinned.
思い詰めても仕方ありませんよ。少し息抜きでもしませんか。
Huh? How?
それでは占いはいかがですか。
Finally, his occupation has some relevancy. He laid a hand on top of his crystal ball. What? It's actually glowing. Oh. After a moment of two waving his hand over it, the ball began to shine with a faint light. It was pretty amazing. Something about the glowing ball combined with the overall sterility of the room itself to create a perfect mystical atmosphere.
恋愛運、金運、仕事運。さて、何を占いましょう。
He looked up from the crystal ball, his face open and waiting. Okay. You get to choose love, money, career. You know what? Love is it's the obvious choice. Money is kind of boring. How about career? What does Saki even want to do, I wonder? What about my career?
あなたの場合は学生さんですから学業運になりますがよろしいですか。
Yeah, I guess so. I hope it's good. I clasped my hands in excitement, and Urabe laughed before turning to gaze intently into his crystal ball.
おや、これはまずい。
Oh no. His brow furrowed, and he frowned. Is it bad?
そうですね。恋愛にかまけて学業をおろそかにしてしまう。
Ah, yes, of course. What? He nodded and raised his eyes from the crystal ball to look into mine.
どなたか気になる方でもいらっしゃるんですか。
What? Well, there was somebody who made my heart skip a few beats, but it's not like I can tell him that. I wanted to run away and hide, but instead I just quickly looked over at one of the fish tanks in an attempt to add nonchalance. I don't know about love, but there's something I'm kind of interested in. I mean, I respect him and stuff, and yeah. Little looked a little relieved.
尊敬ですか。それが恋愛感情に発展して我を忘れたりしなければきっと大丈夫でしょう。
Lose myself.
学業を大事にしたいなら恋愛が成就したとしても節度あるお付き合いを心がけてください。
Don't make out too much. Otherwise, I don't know, you just fail school. He seemed so calm and certain, it would be hard not to believe him.
新宿の兄の占いはどうでしたか。
Well, it's very generic and ambiguous, so it really is just any other fortune telling. I feel like I'd believe you even if it was bad news.
当たるも八卦、当たらぬも八卦ですよ。最後はあなた自身の気の持ちようです。
What do you mean?
運命など可変的なものです。占いに沿って行動すれば間違いなしの人生が送れるというわけではありません。あなたの選択や進んだ道があなたの人生を作っていくのです。いい占いの結果だったからなんて気を緩めていると占い結果も悪い方向に変わってしまうものなんですよ。だから今回はただの息抜きと割り切ってあなたはあなたの思う通りに進めばいいんです。
Oh.
少し不安そうですね。そうだ。
Something seemed to occur to him, and he unwrapped the prayer beads from his hand.
さきさん、手を貸してくださいませんか。
You know, the fact that his prayer beads, it seems like he seems, like he's inspired by Eastern religion. So I wonder if he is a fortune teller necessarily, or maybe it has different connotations in Japan or something. I don't know. So why would he have prayer beads? It makes no sense for a fortune teller, but maybe it does. I don't know. Okay. He's wearing robes as well and everything. I held up my hand and he wrapped the beads around my wrist. Because he seems like a priest, you know, but he's not really a priest, I guess. Priests don't have crystal balls. I guess he really is a fortune teller? The way it's, like... I'm just wondering, like, how it's localized, you know, how it's translated. Like, maybe it's not exactly a fortune teller, but... I don't know. Really? I mean, isn't it really important to you?
大事なものだからあなたに持っていてほしいんです。この数珠には私の気が込められています。いざという時にあなたを守ってくれるはずです。
Ah, yes, of course. And you can have it, you know, for only $50. It's on sale. Now, his spirit. Thank you, or isn't that a little odd? I'm too curious. What would happen if you say that? He's probably just frown a little or something. You don't think they're a little conservative for a high school girl?
正直ですね。
Oh jeez, I'm so sorry. I whacked myself in the forehead. How could I have just said that?
いえ、いいんですよ。率直な感想をありがとうございます。
Okay, well, Saki was actually was saying it was kind of odd in terms of fashion. Is what she was trying to say.
でも少しだけ心外ですね。意外とおしゃれだと思っていたのですが。
I'm so sorry. I really like it. Okay. Well, we don't get hard points for that. It's fine, whatever. We spent a while talking about my fortune and his prayer beads. I feel like that's the funnier answer, even if it's not the correct answer. What time is it? The room didn't have a window or a clock, so I guess there's no way to even guess. It made me uncomfortable. Urabe?
はい、なんでしょう。
Do you think everybody else is, okay? He stopped polishing his crystal ball and looked up into my eyes.
皆さんを信じましょう。あの方たちならきっと大丈夫です。今はあなた自身が無事生き延びることに専念するべき時ですよ。
Okay. He's right, I do need to focus on myself. But something just feels off. What is it? Another piglet appeared with another tray of food. But now I wonder, you know, similar to Wakasa's situation in his route where we got stuck in the room, where do we go to the washroom? You know, do we do it in the fish tanks anyway? Look, you know, all this food has to go somewhere. Not to mention pee breaks. He handed us the trays, then walked quickly out of the room.
時間の経過具合から言ってどうやら今度は夕食のようですね。
I guess so. As we ate, we discussed where our next move should be. We need to find a way out of here.
そうですね。しかしこの打つ手がない状態で一体どうしたものか。
Well, I was thinking, we should make a break for it the next time that piglet shows up.
というと
Well, we could trip him or just attack him. As long as we get out, does it really matter? I looked over the door and Urabe knit his brow.
確かにあのドアを出ることくらいならできるかもしれませんが。
Is something bothering you?
今日でゲームが始まって5日目。7日間のゲームが終了するまであと2日と少しですよね。
Yeah, that's right.
黒子が私たちに危害を加えてくる様子もないですし、ここにいればむしろ安全なのではないでしょうか。
Is that the best action? Stay here? What?
ここで無理に行動してあなたに怪我などあってはいけません。このまま時が過ぎるのを待ちましょう。
Really?
そうです。
He can't be serious. Yes, it was the 5th day, and we'd been out of the game for 2 days by that point. I didn't know for sure, but I was betting that the others were having a hard time because they were short 2 players. They need our help. We need to get out of here as soon as possible. But Urabe doesn't seem to feel that way. Why? It is kind of weird, you know. He doesn't seem to care about the others. That's what he always said, right? He's a bit yandere, I feel like. But all he does care about is Saki, but everybody else, not so much. So I guess he does say that he would prefer if everyone, you know, got out of the game and everything. You know, he even talked to Hogstein to simply stop the game and release them as well, so he does care. But I guess not as much as Saki, you know? I think is what he's trying to say, or he's trying to like... I assume that's like what he's meaning, you know, when he says like it would be safer to stay here. Anyway. Hogstein. After a long silence, his voice sounded frighteningly loud. Urabe and I looked at one another. Thank goodness. Really? It was like a change of plans? That's kind of weird. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, normally they would go to Bazaar Planet and then they would put Urabe in the tank and everything. But I guess they did like a different game? Huh? With a few more snorting laughs, he hung up. What was that about? The room was quiet again. All I could hear was our breathing and the soft bubbling of the fish tanks. Hogstein's voice echoed around inside my head. What do you think he meant by all that? He said he was planning to have the game here, but then he moved it. And he was planning to use us as hostages. Why had he? Or was he lying about that and he had told the others he had his hostage? No, I don't think so. If he had, then I had no doubt his sick idea of fun would have prompted him to connect us to the rest of our team so they could hear us in captivity. So, what's going on? Something's off here. Then suddenly I realized I felt this way before, earlier, when Urabe had said we should just stay and wait. But if I felt the same way about what Hogstein said, and what Urabe said, then that would mean... thinking emoji. I actually don't know what this means at all, but the first time I felt like something was off was when I was talking to Urabe. I got him to... the icon kind of blocks that. I got him to agree that we had to get out, but he just said that it was safer to stay in the room and wait for the time to pass. Actually, let me see the thing here. He didn't really agree though. He denied them almost immediately. Oh yeah, when he tricked us. He said it was safer to stay in the room. But is that really better? Everybody else is out there putting themselves in danger. And wait for time to pass. You can't just sit here. We've been out of the game for 2 days already. Hogstein was acting weird too. Why did he say that he was nice enough to move it somewhere else? I need to move it somewhere else. How is that doing us a favor? Yeah. I guess he was gonna have a game here? He also said that we should be thankful that he did what he did. I'd be thankful if we just let out this stupid game. What a jerk. I'm really getting tired of Hogstein always acting like he's so inconvenienced by us. When I pointed that out to Urabe, he didn't seem to care. Maybe I misinterpreted things, but it still seems pretty suspicious. So what really feels out of place? This is hard actually. I don't know what Saki means. What is she talking about? I'm actually not sure. Agree. I wonder if Urabe is making another deal with Hogstein for some reason to keep her safe too? Maybe? He said before we passed out from the gas, I think he said like he'll protect Saki no matter what. So maybe if we stay here, eventually he'll be sacrificed in order to keep Saki safe. Or at least that's what he agreed to. But we don't know if Hogstein will keep his word if that is the case, which I don't even know yet. I don't know actually. What would say that, or assuming even that's the case at all? Maybe agree? Time to pass and... thankful? I don't know. I'm just guessing, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I could be wrong. Inside the views. This is driving me nuts, but I can't figure out why. I knew there was something I was missing, but I couldn't put my finger on what until...
ここにいていただきたいのです。
Okay, well, let me see. Let me load, actually. 'Cause I think this is another situation where it doesn't really matter if you get it right. But... I want to get it right. I just picked the same thing, doesn't matter. Alright. Okay. I couldn't say right before it started. Boink, boink.
どういう意味とは?
And then save here. Right before the bomb insight. Or rather, the explosive insight, I guess. Alright. I don't know, what is off? I'm not sure. Like, maybe stay? Like, safer. Is that what you mean? Safer to stay in the room? He? I don't know, he. And, time to pass? Oh, I can cancel it. Okay, I didn't know you could do that. Time to pass. Well, actually, did I say that before? I don't know, it's about it. I wanna pick stuff that I haven't chosen somewhere else. I don't move. I think it's safer. Maybe safer? Maybe that's a suspicious word? Yeah. Because why would it be safer? How would he know? That's it. I don't think Urabe wants to get out of here at all. Of course he say it's safe to just stay here. I felt my hands tighten to fists. Urabe?
どうされました?
He saw my expression, and I saw his eyebrows tilt down. Tell me you want to get out of here.
突然何を言っているんです。そんなわけないでしょう。
It seemed like you didn't, though. No, that's not true. Save our strength for when the right opportunity presents itself. People are out there risking their lives. How can you say that? I locked my eyes to his. I guess CG, though.
気づいてしまったんですね。
Once again. Caught you again. Why do you keep betraying us all the time? It seemed like even the air around him suddenly changed. He wasn't the warm, kind man who'd been there the last few hours.
あなたにはここにいていただきます。
Nani?
それがあなたのためなのです。
His expression was dark, and there was an almost maniacal determination behind his eyes. Wait, what are you saying?
言葉通り、あなたの安全のためです。私はどうしてもあなたを守りたい。ですから、3日目の夜にあなたが眠りについた後、近くにあったワルドブー像で、
Ah, yes. I knew it. I knew that was it.
ワルドブーと取引をしたのです。
I just didn't know how to communicate that through the gameplay. What?
裏切り者が抜け抜けと私を呼び出して、一体どういうつもりです？
ワルドブー。いえ、M2。あなたとお話がしたいのです。あなたも知っての通り、サキさんは自分からゲームに立候補したイレギュラーな存在です。そんな彼女がいなくなってもゲームに支障はないはずです。絶対に邪魔はさせません。ですから彼女を助けていただけませんか？
それは聞けないお願いです。私を裏切っておいて、なんとも虫のいい話ですね。
M2、確かに私はあなたを裏切りました。ですが、アトラクションを爆破させ、報酬メモの入手を失敗させる。あなたに指示された目的は達しています。その見返りとして、彼女の命だけは奪わないでほしいのです。
別に彼女の命を助けるのには構いませんが、彼女のとびっきりの勘、ひらめきは想像以上に素晴らしいスパイスです。それがなくなるのはもったいない。何かそれに代わるような面白さが欲しいところですが。
私にできることであれば何でもやらせていただきましょう。
面白いこと思いつきました。ぜひ
面白いことを。
オッケーオッケー、お願いを認めましょう。ただし
翌日私は私の抱えている全てをあなたに告白しました。私自身のことを、真実をあなたに聞いてほしかった。その心に一切の偽りはなかった。ですが
So you did what he told you to do and brought me to the tower. I thought back to what he said.
心の底ではあなたならきっとそう言ってくれるだろうと。
Wait a minute. Okay. So I'm trying to think. I guess I got mixed up. Because now, I guess he didn't take the deal. I mean, he even said it, I guess. I didn't really catch that. But I guess he made the deal even before Saki was hit by the sleeping gas. He took the deal in particular before, when Saki was on his lap. He's giving the lap pillow and everything. He did that on the third night. After she fell asleep, I guess, when she found him initially. So that's what happened. So he staged this whole thing just to pretend that both of them were captured and put into Bizarre Planet, but really it was all part of the deal, I guess. But I wonder what he exchanged it for. I'm not sure. Anyway. So he even manipulated Saki into making her come with him, even, And then I was trapped, just as planned, all according to Kenkaku.
そうです。あなたを危険なゲームから守るためにはこの方法しかなかった。
But why? Why is it so important to you to keep me out of the game?
以前言ったはずです。生きながら死んでいた私の心にあなたは光を灯してくれたと。
It is kind of messed up, isn't it? It's very manipulative. To trick her into being captured and also spend 2 days with you alone in this room. I don't know. A bit yandere. I'm getting some yandere vibes from him. That's alright, I remember. That was back when we were escaping from the hospital.
覚えていてくれたんですね。
His face brightened.
私はずっと思っていました。父を地獄に送れるのなら私の命などいらない。むしろ汚れている私の命も奪ってほしいと。ですがこのゲームであなたに出会った。
Me?
あなたはいつも一生懸命で前向きに頑張っていました。私はそんなあなたをいつしか無意識に目で追っていた。
Yes, dedicated, optimistic, kind, definitely generic harem protagonist traits,
それどころかいつの間にか生きるために皆さんと頑張っている自分がいました。
He paused and smiled at me.
生きたい。そう思えたのは心に暗闇を抱えて以来初めてのことです。
Tears started to stream down his face, and my heart felt like someone has stuck it in a vice.
そんな感情を生み出させてくれたあなたのことを私は何があっても守りたい。
I don't want to ruin this moment, but I don't know. He sounds a little pretentious. He's saying like, "Oh, I'm so evil, but then you guys gave me a reason to live, so I must do this in order to keep you all safe, or whatever. I don't know, or at least keep Saki safe anyway."
そのためなら何でもします。
Only I get to decide, I get to decide how I keep you safe or whatever. Ironically, even though he's like self-deprecating himself a lot, saying how his life doesn't matter. Ironically, it also feels like he's like so self-important, actually. It's like kind of the opposite, you know? It's who gets to decide what to do with everybody else? Then help me get out. I'm touched, but help me get out. And help me get out of here. He had to have known deep down. There's no way his plan will work.
申し訳ありませんが、それだけはできません。
He shook his head firmly.
言ったはずです。あなたを守るためなら何でもすると。私は考えを変える気はありません。そう。たとえあなたに心の底から嫌われたとしても。
He turned away and stood up.
あと2日、ここでおとなしくしていてください。
Urabe.
それでは。
Before I could do anything, he was gone. I ran to the door, but he already locked it behind him. No! He left me behind. What am I gonna do now? I understood what he's trying to do. I understood it so much it hurt. He keeps saying I'm so nice, but he never really looks at himself. Even though he hates his dad, it hurts him to do it, and he hates himself for it. He understands other people's pain, and he's thoughtful. I can totally see why people come to him for fortunes. And even is not exactly going about it in a good way. He's doing what he thinks he has to do to keep me safe. I mean, a bit of Stockholm Syndrome. Trapping you in here is keeping you safe? I don't know about that. I can't bring myself to hate him for that. Maybe if I could help him work through some of that pain. But I wouldn't be able to do that or anything else if I just stay shut up in a room full of fish tanks, you know? I'm not staying here. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go find Urabe. We're gonna beat this game together. I repeated that to myself over and over until I fell asleep. Well, kinda say that, but then I guess we're just gonna take a nap. The first action we take is to simply go to sleep. Anyway. Stage 6. And again, I don't know, it feels like, you know, I guess the idea is that he is trying to sacrifice himself for Saki and everything, but it really feels like he's just like, oh, this is for your own good, you know? He's very patronizing, is what he's acting like. Ironically, even though he's saying that he's doing it for her own good. You know, it's not, I feel like it's not really. Is it morning already? I opened my eyes and stretched. Sleeping on the floor had left me a little stiff, but it wasn't anything serious. Yeah, looks like I'm okay. The thought was nice, but I couldn't let Urabe's worrying keep me cooped up. First things first, I need to get out of here. I slapped my cheeks to wake myself up and took another quick look around the room. Unfortunately, no escape routes had appeared during the night. You know, nothing magical happened. Alright then, that means my only chance is gonna be when I get my food. Assuming that you'll get any food, Saki. If the previous day had been any indication, a piglet would show up eventually with my breakfast. I would have had a better chance with Urabe to back me up, but I guess I'll just have to make do. Remember, Inafune, you're only gonna get one shot at this. My one shot came earlier than I expected. It's here! Piglet opened the door and stepped inside with a steaming hot meal. Just one. It brought 2 trays the day before. It was a small pointless thing, but I suddenly felt very alone. No, stop that. You can do this. I pushed the worry and self-doubt out of my head and focused on the piglet. Thank you. I reached out for the tray. This is my chance. Save. I don't know if it matters, but tripping him, well, we don't know, you know, we don't know any kind of martial arts. I don't know if we can trip him, but we can drop the tray. That's like a classic trick, right? Like pretend to get something, but then don't actually grab it. And so it looks like the other person made a mistake. Oh gosh, I'm sorry! The moment I had the tray, I let it go. It clattered to the floor and the plate broke, splattering food everywhere. Oh jeez, I feel kinda bad for wasting all that food. The piglet seemed surprised and began to wave at me frantically. It was walking very carefully, looking back and forth from the room then to me and back again. Sorry, I cleaned it up myself, but I don't have a towel or anything. Could you bring me a broom and a towel, please? Listen to this music. Sometimes the music is a little quirky. What is he saying? I don't know. I nodded and rushed out of the room. I wonder if anyone made lyrics of these songs. Alright, now's my chance. I rushed to the door and grabbed the knob. No! It was locked tight and I failed. Damn it! If the door is locked, I was out of luck. I bent down to start picking up the pieces of the plate when the piglet returned with some cleaning stuff. It pointed to the pieces and shook his head vigorously, then gestured for me to get up and move away. My best guess was that it was trying to tell me the glass was dangerous. Thanks. Well, it was gonna give me the opportunity. I stood there while I started to gather up the pieces of the plate, wrapped them in newspaper, and then tossed them into a plastic bag. Once it gathered up all the plate shards, it began to wipe up all the spilled food. Its back was to me, and it seemed to be totally focused on cleaning up. No, actually, we do have our chance. This was my chance. Hit him with a tray. That's just mean. I don't want to hit him with a tray. I'm just gonna walk away. I walked toward the door slowly and quietly. The piglet was too busy to notice. It changed positions to reach another part of the floor, and as it did, it looked up. This is like a comedy moment. Our eyes met. I need to run! I snapped out of it just before the piglet did and ran! It leapt out to run too, and immediately fell down, its foot slipping out from under in the spilled rice. Aha! All part of the plan. Sorry! I turned and ran out of the room. It worked out at the end. I wonder if there is like a fail state for that. You get like a game over somehow? I don't know. Where am I? Outside of the fish room, I suddenly found myself in what appeared to be some sort of gift shop. After the dim light of the fish tanks, the bright fluorescent lighting in the shop hurt my eyes. I blinked rapidly and waited for my vision to clear, but when it did, I kinda wished it hadn't. The shelves were full of Count Hogstein merchandise. What the heck? It's all Hogstein. I looked around a little, and there wasn't a thing in there that didn't have his face on it somewhere. Who would buy any of this junk? It was just so tacky. There was everything from stationery to bath soap, from kitchenware to electric lamps, and so many different colors. But I can't imagine there's actually any demand for this stuff. Well, I guess I should expect weird stuff. Hogstein is not exactly well adjusted. I sighed and looked around for a clock. 1 o'clock. That meant the game had already started. I need to hurry. Sticking to the shadows, I slowly and carefully made my way toward the entrance. It didn't look like there were any piglets on lookout. When I finally reached the door, I had hid behind a human-sized Hogstein and peered out again to double-check. Alright, looks like the coast is clear. I stepped out of my hiding place and was about to leave when something caught my eye. Wait, is that my phone? From inside the nostril of a giant Hogstein, I could see the corner of a very familiar cell phone. Okay, they just put it in there. I pulled it out. No question it was mine. What the heck was doing there? Whatever. Now I'll get hold of my uncle and the rest of our team. Great. Time to move. I slipped my phone into my pocket and strode out the door. Bizarre planet. The gift shop was apparently just part of a larger shopping mall. All around the mall were stores and restaurants. I peered into one of them, and just like the gift shop, everything was Hogstein branded. Well, I guess I gotta give him points for being, thorough. I shook my head in disbelief and looked around. Normally, it probably would have been packed with crowds, but I was the only one person there. Alright, I'm out. What now? Ideally, I would convince Urabe to rejoin the others so we could all work together again. But I don't know where he is. I rubbed absently at the beads on my wrists. I haven't really got my feelings about him figured out yet, but he'd said his spear was in the beads. As I touched them, they felt a little warm. I smiled. In a way, I felt like he was right there next to me. As if he was already dead and he's a ghost now. He's like a Jedi Force ghost. No, if all this gets worked out, I want to hear more about his life. No, not if, when. Thinking about Urabe made me feel a little better. Okay, I should probably start by figuring out what attraction the game is happening at today, and meeting up with everyone here. Meeting with everyone there. So, start a plaza, I guess? There will be a directory there. Hopefully that would help me figure out where to go next. Alright. I took off at a run for the plaza. I took care to run from shadow to shadow, but it seemed unnecessary. I didn't see anyone on my way to the plaza. All our, like, you know, sneaking skills are just going to waste. There's not anyone to sneak by. Just as I thought, there was a directory of all the attractions. I don't think he used the same one twice. So would it would have to be one of the ones we haven't been to yet. As our planet had been empty, so I could rule that out, leaving me with 3 attractions I hadn't visited. There was Moonlight Ox, Round Table Coliseum Nights, and Band Animal Family. The question was which one. I took a look at how each were laid out in the park. Band Animal Family was the furthest away. With nothing else to go on, I figured starting with the closer ones was better. With that in mind, I decided to visit Moonlight Ox. Well, they probably already did that already. You know? Gotta hurry. The sooner I could find the others, the sooner I could get them to help me convince Urabe. So, mind made up, I headed toward Moonlight Ox. I wiped sweat from my forehead and looked at the attraction rising from some kind of fake crater. It looked like a launch pad for a rocket. I guess I can't tell if the game is going on from out here, huh? In front of the door was a piglet. Should I ask him? But what if he tries to catch me? In the end, though, there was only one way to find out. I took a deep breath and walked up to the piglet. Excuse me. As I approached, he looked up but didn't move toward me. I guess he hasn't been told that I've escaped yet. I was just wondering, are they playing a game in there right now? He shook his head. Apparently Moonlight Ox wasn't it. Can I ask you something else? He put one closed fist on his chest in a sort of salute and bowed slightly. As far as I could tell, he was pretty friendly. Do you know where they are having a game today? This time he wiped his eyes like he was crying and then looked down the ground and sighed. So he doesn't know where they are. Okay, don't worry about it, I'll just keep looking. Thanks. He nodded vigorously and pumped his fist. Was he cheering me on? Weird, just like one piglet here. Just like, I guess, guarding Moonlight Ox for some reason, even though they're not doing anything here. They all look the same, but it seems like they have different personalities. I haven't thought of them as anything other than Hogstein's minions, but I wonder if they're actually just good people in a bad situation. I waved to the piglet and he waved back. Then I turned toward the next attraction and began to run. Okay, 50-50. Should be one of these, right? Above me, the sky was starting to cloud up. The light had turned gray and oppressive by the time I arrived at Round Table Coliseum Nights, what is it? I can never read Roman numerals. 6, right? I assume 6? The attraction looked close to one another on the map, but the park was actually really big. By the time I arrived, I was out of breath. I stopped and took a couple deep breaths. The sky was making me uneasy. I need to hurry. There's no time to waste. I peeled around the corner to have a look at the entrance, and just like before, a piglet was guarding it. Unfortunately, rather, he also didn't seem interested in capturing me. I let out a quiet sigh of relief and walked up to him. Sorry, but can I ask you a quick question? Are they playing a game here? The piglet shook his head, no luck. Well, if they weren't at Moonlight Ox or the Round Table Coliseum, then that left only one thing. An animal family. Thank you. He gave me a small nod. Apparently they weren't all as talkative as the last one. Or talkative, you know, quote unquote. I had memorized the map earlier, so I already knew how to get to Band Animal Family. Alright? I spun around to leave, but stopped short. Uh-oh. He has like a different sprite. He has the evil sprite, you know, where he like... And for some reason, a lot of villains tend to sweep back their hair, you know? That makes them evil. What? How? He looks sad and disappointed. Urabe started to walk toward me. How did you know where I was? Was it the prayer beads? You know, does the prayer beads have like GPS or something? He really is a bit of like a yandere? I don't know. Shaken, I backed away as they moved closer. He just smiled and pointed to my arm. Huh? All that was there was the prayer beads he'd given me. His smile slowly faded away. My god.
私はあなたを守る。
He is a bit crazy. This is definitely the yandere route. His voice had turned cold. I knew he was like suspicious. Like I mean, there probably will be a happy ending at the end of this route, but I won't feel good about it because he's a bit psycho. He's a bit of a psycho. Wait, are you saying? I didn't read that. Wait, are you saying? The beats had his spirit in them. I guess it wasn't just his spirit. He must have put some kind of tracker in the beat so that he would be able to know where I was. So he even knew how to escape? My legs trembled and collapsed, dropping me stunned to the floor. I looked up at Urabe and he gave me a small, cold smile. A chill ran down my spine. How am I gonna find the others now? Will Urabe even hear anything I say? A drop of rain hit the ground next to me. It was followed by another, and then another. In moments, everything was soaked.
大丈夫ですか、サキさん。
He knelt down and grabbed me. I jumped as he touched me. He paused for a moment, his hands on my arms. Then he seemed to make up his mind and pulled me into a tight embrace.
携帯電話を取り戻したところで、安心して部屋に戻ってくださればよかったのに。
Wait, so Urabe stuck in Hogstein's nose?
少ししか離れていなかったはずなのに、あなたの姿が見えない間。
Okay. It's hard to trust him when he makes that face. He made that really crazy face at one time.
もう
Just moments ago.
あなたに会えなくなってしまうんじゃないだろう。
Is this supposed to be heartwarming? The music, is doing the, the heartwarming thing where like, it's supposed to be wholesome, I guess. The rain rolled down my cheeks like tears.
ようやく大切なあなたと巡り会えたのに、この手に一度も抱きしめることもないまま終わってしまうのではないだろうかと。サキさん。
He's making that face again. Can you trust that face? The music is saying, oh, don't worry about it. It's a happy moment. Or whatever. But, I mean, I don't know. That face looks scary. I felt his breath on my ear.
あなたのためなら。
His voice was quiet but determined. And he has big hands, by the way. I don't know, his hands are very
あな
big.
たのためなら何を犠牲にしても構わない。
Okay. And now I'm back here. Well, okay. Did he just, like, carry us back here? I escaped only to be caught and brought back. Oops. And we didn't really accomplish much. I'm tired. Perhaps it would be better just to do what Urabe wanted and wait. Supposedly, Hogstein had promised to keep me safe. I could even sleep and eat. But it really feels like you're put in a cage, Even if it was out of love, it still feels pretty restrictive, and it's not really love, it's just like being a weird control freak. This is a very abusive relationship, is all I have to say. If I gave up like that, I feel like I was betraying myself. Not to mention betraying all my friends and my uncle. I know. If the game's over, maybe I can get a hold of them on my phone. I pulled it out. Oh shoot, no reception. I apparently got a text message at some point though. Probably came in while I was running around, so I didn't notice it. Oh, hey, it's from Uncle Keiji.
そちらの様子はどうだ?
Okay, the same
しば
one.
らく連絡がなかったから心配して
Hello, niece. I hope you're doing well. No matter what happens, I'm sure if you keep your chin up, everything will be alright. Just don't give up. Lol.
そんな時でも一つだけ忘れないでほしい。逃げるな。もし疲れたら立ち止まってもいい。
Oh, it's actually slightly different, actually.
ゆっくり休んでも構わない。
Is it, I assume all the text messages you always get from Keiji is almost always the same, but this one's slightly different, it seems.
でも
I don't remember him saying like,
たとえどんなに足踏みしたとしても決して苦境から逃げ出さないこと。
well, he said like never run away. I don't know. I don't remember him saying that. Anyway.
正面から立ち向かえばきっと活路は開けるはずだ。
Generally, it's the same advice.
どんな時でもお前を信じている。
Oh geez. I felt my heart warm. He's right. I can't run away from this. I have to confront Urabe. I clasp my phone to my chest. Tomorrow morning is my last chance. I have to convince him. My mind made up, I allow myself to go to sleep. Alright. What do we do when we have a psycho boyfriend? We have to convince him somehow, I guess. Alright. Stay 7.